Welcome to episode 55 of the Girl About the Globe podcast. I'm really excited about this episode because in this episode I'm covering a solo travel in the Caribbean. I've spent 3 months travelling as a solo woman in the Caribbean and absolutely loved it. But there are some islands and some destinations that you may feel more comfortable in as a woman travelling by yourself. So for this episode, I'm going to cover solo travel in the Caribbean, which is how you're perceived in certain islands and countries, and also how to get around. So I really hope that this inspires you to go to at least one of the islands there. Stay tuned. Welcome to Girl About the Globe, a podcast for you as a solo female traveller, empowering women to travel solo with maximum adventure, minimum impact. The Caribbean. Star rating 2 out of 5 stars depending on which island you go to. Budget $60 to anything more than $100+ a day. The cheapest island in the Caribbean is Jamaica. The most expensive is St. Barth. Languages spoken: English, French, Dutch, Spanish and Creole. Did you know that there are resorts geared up especially for single travellers on some of the Caribbean islands? The Caribbean conjures up images of palm trees, white powdery beaches and turquoise warm waters. There may not seem like a destination for solo females, with many of the islands geared up for couples. But this part of the world may surprise you. With hundreds to choose from, there is an island out there to suit everybody. Some of the islands, such as St. Martin, were affected by Hurricanes Irma and Maria in September 2017. While most have recovered and been reconstructed since, you may still see damaged areas on some of the islands. However, they are open for tourism, so keep the Caribbean on your bucket list. Just avoid the hurricane season and book ahead, as there may be less accommodation than there was before. It's not all steel drum bands and Rastafarians here, and there are so many islands to explore, including those which belong to Latin America, such as the San Blas Islands, the Corn Islands, and San Andreas. Although this part of the world is a bit pricey, with islands having to import many goods, the Caribbean offers the perfect escape for anyone wanting to relax, recuperate, and drink plenty of rum in a picture-perfect setting. Montserrat, Martinique, the Cayman Islands, St. Bart's, Bonaire and British Virgin Islands are some of the safest islands in the Caribbean. Head to one of these for a chic boutique hotel with a view, or to meet others, try Puerto Rico, Barbados and Aruba, known for their nightlife where you're guaranteed to meet others. Unless you love the sun and beaches, on some of the islands there's not really much else to do there. If you steer clear of the all-inclusive resorts, you may find yourself in the minority of the travellers. Although idyllic, the Caribbean can also mean isolation, which, on the other hand, is great for those of us seeking some solitude. But you do need to keep your guard as a solo traveller, so invent a travelling companion if it's easier, and be careful who you choose to tell that you're alone to. If you are pale-skinned, you can be deemed as exotic, so expect unwanted stares and attention, and unless you're going out partying, dress modestly and avoid anything too low-cut if you don't want to feel uncomfortable. Be prepared to be asked if you're looking for a Caribbean lover, and take a tour guide with you to avoid any locals' advances. Split into the Greater Antilles and the Lesser Antilles, the Caribbean is made up of over 7,000 islands, yet not all are accessible or inhabited. Although this is not a backpacking destination, you can still find a way to island hop your way around, depending on which islands you choose to start in. The Greater Antilles are formed of the Cayman Islands, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Jamaica and Puerto Rico. The most popular islands in the Greater Antilles are usually associated with 5-star resorts and world-class beaches. Jamaica may be known for Montego Bay and its 7-mile beach, but explore the south coast and you'll find a rugged coastline and jungle wetlands, as well as the famous reggae music. Just northwest are the Cayman Islands, made up of Grand Cayman, Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, each with its own character and popular for birdwatching and diving. Then there's Cuba, the largest island in the Caribbean and home of Cuban salsa. This country in the Caribbean is like no other, with American classic cars, horses and carts, cowboys smoking Cuban cigars and endless salsa dancing. Known for its music, Cuba even has its own style of salsa which echoes from street corners. Visit the towns of Trinidad for colourful houses and locals, Holguin for turquoise waters and white powder beaches, and Havana for a derelict chic old town. Puerto Rico is also known for its fabulous beaches, as well as its salsa scene and numerous music stars. The Dominican Republic is known for its 5-star all-inclusive resorts along miles of coastline, but there are also monasteries, cobbled streets and mangrove lagoons to be found. Sharing the same island as Dominican Republic is Haiti, a country which, although it has a rich culture, castles and voodoo traditions, is also dangerous to travel to. Be careful in countries with 5-star all-inclusive resorts, such as the Dominican Republic or Jamaica, especially in the country's capital, Kingston. Be careful if you choose to explore by yourself, and be firm with aggressive sellers who may grab you to get you to look at their products. Avoid wearing expensive jewellery unless you're in a resort, and take a cab instead of walking anywhere at night. If you do want company, Cuba offers homestays as a way to get to know the locals. On the streets of Havana, you may just find that if someone is too helpful, they will expect a payment or a free dinner in return. The Lesser Antilles are made up of the Leeward Islands, Windward Islands, and the ABC Islands. The Leeward Islands consist of Anguilla, Antigua, British Virgin Islands, Guadeloupe, Montserrat, Saba, St. Barts, St. Martin, St. Eustatius, St. Kitts and Nevis, and the US Virgin Islands. These islands are all safe to travel to, with some being the most exclusive in the Caribbean. There's no shortage of French islands here either. St. Martin is unique, as it's half French and half Dutch. This island is so well developed that there are more duty-free shops and beaches, as well as numerous casinos to pass away your time. It's also popular with sporty travellers and has plenty of action to keep you entertained, all in a European style. Visit St. Eustatius for its rich past and slave history. The Brits also have a claim in the Caribbean. The British Virgin Islands lie in the northeastern Caribbean, with national parks, botanic gardens and shipwrecks to explore among its archipelago of 60 islands. Grenada is a former British colony. It's known for its charming architecture and spices. If it's cuisine that draws you to the Caribbean, the US Virgin Islands are 3 islands with fine dining at its very best. With white sand beaches, they are America's own taste of paradise. Sail around Antigua and Barbuda, known for its emerald and aqua seas. Enjoy the laid-back vibe and warm hospitality of the people of Anguilla, or hike mountainous St. Kitts and Nevis, spotting monkeys as you go. St. Kitts is also a mecca for yachts, along with others in the Leeward Islands. The Windward Islands. The Windward Islands are Barbados, Dominica, Grenada, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Trinidad and Tobago. Not to be confused with the Dominican Republic, Dominica is known as the Nature Islands, and its jungle, waterfalls and abundance of nature make this the perfect sustainable tourist destination. There is so much to see here, from underwater pinnacles to rare parrots, and there's even a boiling lake to experience. Martinique has historical sites, and Montpellier has the most active volcano in the Caribbean. Then there's Guadeloupe, which has 2 islands of rainforests and waterfalls to explore. From fine dining to the more romantic, the island of St. Lucia is a heavenly place to relax in, an intimate boutique hotel, whilst listening to the sounds of jazz, or choose Barbados with its perfect beaches and green gardens. Snorkel the Tobago Keys and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, then explore the 9 inhabited islands by land or by sea. Trinidad and Tobago are an ideal eco-destination, as well as water sports and sailing around Trinidad's islands. You can also hike through lush scenery while enjoying the island's calypso music. They're also known for their famous carnival, but as a solo you may prefer to stay in Tobago rather than Trinidad. Tobago has more of a holiday feel, and it feels safer. The ABC Islands. Aruba, Bonaire and Curacao are known as the ABC Islands, and they are located above Venezuela. These Dutch Caribbean islands are all very different, but one thing they do have in common is the language called Papiamento. Aruba is the most well-known. Known as one happy island, it has rolling landscapes and a rugged coastline. Cruise ships do stop here, but don't let that deter you from visiting, as the island offers great shopping and nightlife. Visit the Donkey Sanctuary or take a jeep tour of the island. Curacao is known for its diving and snorkeling, from forts to museums and art galleries. visit the colourful colonial town of Willemstad, or take an ATV, a quad bike, across the island. Bonaire is lesser known than the other ABC islands, but it does attract kite surfers and those wanting to see colourful slave houses and pink salt lakes. You may not meet as many others here as in Aruba though. The Lucayan Archipelago. Near the USA is the Lucayan Archipelago, which are the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos. The Bahamas are easily accessible from the US and boast some of the bluest waters in the world. They're the perfect islands to see flamingos and dolphins in the wild, or visit the undeveloped islands of Turks and Caicos, an area now placing itself firmly on the Caribbean map. Travelling around the Caribbean. Although the Caribbean isn't really geared up for independent travel, there are internal flights and ferries to get you from place to place, depending on which islands you choose to stay at. You may need proof that you're leaving the next island, or you could find yourself being refused boarding because you only have a one-way flight in. This also applies to ferries too, so check before you enter an island and get proof of onward travel arrangements if you can. There are a few small airlines, but the regional ones are Liat and Caribbean Air, which operate on the major islands. Antigua is the main hub for Liat. SVG Air operates between 32 islands, including Union Island, Mustique and Biguaya in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Fly between the Greater Antilles or between Martinique or Guadeloupe to Grenada. You can also fly in and out of Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago. From Trinidad, you can explore the small islands off the coast or travel to Tobago by plane or ferry. You can also fly to Grenada from here. You need a flight to get from St. Lucia to St. Vincent or to Barbados. But from St. Vincent, there's a ferry service to the Grenadines. In the Bahamas, you can fly to nearly every inhabited island within them. Choose from Inaguas or Abacos. Flights go from the main island. Puerto Rico, Antigua, St. Martin, St. Barnes, Anguilla, and St. Kitts and Nevis are an island group connected by ferries. From Antigua, you can hop to Barbuda by ferry and then fly to St. Kitts and Nevis by plane. And from St. Martin, you can get the ferry to Anguilla, St. Bart and Saba and fly to others. Cuba is very isolated and you can only get in and out of this island by flying, but there are a few different airports to choose from. You can get around by old American classic cars, which double up as taxis. There are buses too, which will take you from Holguin to Trinidad and on to Havana, stopping en route. The Dominican Republic and Jamaica are also fly-in, fly-out only. You can get to so many places from Puerto Rico, one of the main ports for cruise ships. There are ferries and flights from here to Culebra, Vieques and the US Virgin Islands using carriers such as Seabourn and Cape Air. There are 5 islands within easy reach of Grande Terre in the Guadeloupe Islands, and for Martinique it's easy to reach the islands of St. Lucia, Guadeloupe and Dominica in just 2 hours. Travel via ferry to other islands from either Antigua, Martinique, Grenada or St. Vincent, the main ferry hubs of the Caribbean. Island hop from Guadeloupe to Dominica, Martinique and St. Lucia by ferry. It's easy to get to the Bahamas from Florida on a daily ferry service, but it's hard to get anywhere else once you are on the Bahamas. If you want to hop across small keys, base yourself in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Although it can be a challenge to get around with the majority of the Caribbean on a no-worries timescale, you may not find things moving as quickly as you would like, with transport not operating to a particular timetable. But it's all part of the Caribbean charm. Just don't be in such a rush to explore. Highlights of the Caribbean is hiking Dominica, snorkeling in Tobago Keys in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, sailing around the islands of Antigua and Barbuda, dancing to salsa in Cuba, Dunn's River Falls in Jamaica, hike through a cloud forest in Puerto Rico, dive with sharks in the Bahamas, go birdwatching in Trinidad, whale watch in the Dominican Republic, get the train into limestone caves in Barbados. There aren't any of the 7 wonders of the world in the Caribbean. Useful websites, Caribbean Travel, which is everything you need to know about the Caribbean, or Go Cuba for getting around Cuba and where to stay. Sample itineraries for the Caribbean. For 1 week, you can spend time on just one island. You can go from Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac and then Little Cayman. You can sail around Antigua and Barbuda or St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You can go to Anguilla and then to St. Martin. You can spend some time in Antigua and then Barbuda or Montserrat. Or from St Thomas, you can visit St John and St Croix, as well as the British Virgin Islands too, where you can then get boats from Anegada and Virgin Gorda to Cooper Island, then hop across to Tortola. If you have 2 weeks, you can use one island as a base and then explore others within easy reach. You can spend some time in Cuba, in Holguin, Trinidad and Havana. You can spend some time on the ABC Islands and explore the Dutch Caribbean, and then fly to Curacao or Aruba or Bonaire, depending on which one you haven't been to. You could spend 2 weeks in St Kitts and Nevis, 2 weeks in Trinidad and Tobago, and split your time between both of the islands. For a 3-week itinerary, you could spend some time in Puerto Rico, then move on to Antigua, St Martin, St Bart's, Anguilla, and St Kitts and Nevis. Or you can do all of the French or Dutch islands. I hope that my ramblings on about the Caribbean has inspired you to visit at least one of these islands. If it has, there are plenty of destination guides on the Girl About the Globe website, and I've also written an article on which Caribbean island might be more suitable for you. So that will help you decide, depending on what kind of activities and what kind of solo you are, to help you choose the right one for you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to our Girl About the Globe podcast, making solo travel easier for you. Find everything that you need for your solo travels at girlabouttheglobe.com, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode.